The most feared thing in a man's house past 60 is not the coffin. It is the walker in the store window, and he walks faster every time he passes it. A man does not lose his legs all at once. Nobody sends him a letter. He loses them one chair at a time, one tea and toast breakfast at a time, one winter of not going out at a time, and then one wet Tuesday, on one rug edge, the bill comes due. And the whole world stands around his hospital bed calling it age, because calling it age means nobody has to answer for it. In our settlement, men split wood at 80. My neighbor Amos is 83 and walks 2 miles to his daughter's house every Lord's Day and complains only about the weather. I am 71, and I still climb to the haymow with a fork over my shoulder. Same country, same weather, same birthdays. Different table and a different idea of what a Tuesday is for. By the end of this, you will know the 5 foods our table carries every single week, and the last one is the one your kitchen throws away. And you will know the other half, because food alone does not hold a man up, and anybody who sells you food alone is selling you half a bridge. And I will show you why I can read a man's road in his handshake before he says a word, because the hand and the legs are the same story, and the English finally measured it and found out I was right. My name is Levi Beiler. I am the man they come to in our settlement before any hospital. The English call what I do folk healing. We call it braucher, and it came down to us in a book called The Long Lost Friend, printed in 1820. And in the hands of every healer who taught the next. For 50 years I have tended the ills of our old ones with the garden, the barn, and the table. I can tell you which old men kept their legs and which lost them, and the difference was on the plate more often than a doctor would guess. This is for the man who noticed the stairs got harder this year, for the one who sat down to put on his socks and called it resting, for the hands that worked 40 years and now ache by supper, for anyone carrying 4 pill bottles in the kitchen drawer who wonders if there is another road, and for the son watching his father plan his day around how far apart the chairs are because somebody has to say it at that table too. First, understand what is taking your legs, because the thing has a schedule, and your world never told you the schedule. From about 30 years old, a body lets go of muscle. Slowly at first, a few parts in every 100, each 10 years. Past 60, the letting go quickens, like a wagon that finds the downhill. The old healers saw it first, and any honest doctor will confirm it now. And the legs hold more muscle than anywhere else on you. They are the barn of the body, the big storehouse. When the storehouse empties, the legs are where you see it first. And the legs are not just for walking. The calf is the body's second heart. Every step squeezes the deep veins and pumps the blood back up to the chest, against gravity, all day long. When the legs go still, the pump idles, and the whole circulation pays the tax. The old healers said the legs fail before the heart does, and they watched a man's walk the way a banker watches a ledger. Here is the part almost nobody tells the man past 60. His body asks for more building food at each meal, not less. A young man can eat a little and build. An older body is like an old horse. It needs the oats measured generous at every feeding, or it draws on the muscle it already has. And what does your world feed the man past 60? Less, softer, sweeter, tea and toast, and they call it light living. It is light, all right. The muscle pays the bill. Tea and toast alone is a snack wearing a meal's clothes, and your world hands it to its fathers every morning and then wonders where their legs went. There is one more thing, and it explains the falls. The muscle you lose first is the quick kind, the kind that catches you when you trip. The slow muscle that carries you along all day, that stays longer. So a man can walk a mile and feel fine, then catch his toe on a rug, and the quick muscle that should have saved him is no longer there. A stumble at 50 is a story you tell. A stumble at 70 is a hip. That is why the legs go first, and why it matters that they do. So the legs thin. A man with thin legs stands less. Standing less, he thins faster. That is the spiral, and it ends in a chair a man does not get out of. Your world calls the spiral aging and sells it a ramp. We call the spiral a table problem and refuse it at the source. Here is how. 5 foods. Number 5 is the one your kitchen throws away, so stay for it. The first food is eggs. 2 every morning in our houses and more on work days. The hens out back do not know the price of things. They lay. An egg is the measure by which every other protein is judged, because it carries all the building blocks a body needs, in the amounts a body wants them. And it carries the bell that rings for the muscle to build. A doctor who buys eggs from us told me the bell's proper name once. I wrote it down and lost the paper, and it did not matter, because the egg rings it whether or not I can spell it. An older muscle is a slow riser. It needs the bell rung loud. The egg rings it loud. The yolk is where the gold is. The fashion of eating the white and binning the yolk threw away the sunshine vitamin and the brain food with the shell. My mother fed us the whole egg and called the white the packing around the present. And some of you were told for 30 years to fear the egg. You want to know how that went? The English doctors have been quietly unringing that bell for years now, with no apology and no parade, while generations of plain people ate 2 and 3 a day and grew old on them. The egg was never the thief. The box of sweetened flakes that replaced it on the morning table, that is worth a harder look, and nobody got rich telling you so. The second food is whole milk and buttermilk at supper. The dairy barn smells of sweet hay and warm animals, and twice a day it gives. We drink the milk whole as it comes, cooled in the spring house where the water runs cold all summer. Skim milk is a city idea. The fat in the milk is what carries the bone vitamins, and a man past 60 needs his bones as much as his muscle, because the muscle pulls on the bone, and a weak frame drops the whole building. Milk also feeds the muscle twice. It carries a quick protein that gets to work fast, and a slow one that keeps feeding for hours. The glass at breakfast is the quick feeding. The buttermilk at supper is the slow one, working the night shift while you sleep. Our old men drink their buttermilk and complain it is sour, and drink it again tomorrow. It is a small sourness for a steady pair of legs. If the store near you sells only the skim kind, buy the whole and let them wonder why. The third food is beef, and I mean the liver most of all. Butchering day comes in the cold months, and the whole family works it. Nothing is wasted, and I mean nothing. And there is a rule as old as the knife. The elders get the liver first. I did not know why, as a boy. I know now. The liver carries more of the blood-building vitamin, B12, than anything else on the farm. And here is what they do not tell the man past 60. A body short of B12 gets weak legs, wobbly balance, numb feet, a foggy head, and all of it gets blamed on age. Years of feeling old, from a shortage that one serving of liver a week can answer. The beef itself carries iron for the blood, and the muscle's own kindling, a store called creatine, the same thing the young men at the gym pay $40 a tub for. We get ours from Tuesday's dinner, and the cow was raised 40 feet from the table. We stew the beef long and slow, and the tough cuts turn soft and rich, and that is how an old man with worn teeth still eats like a king. The charred and the fried are for the young. The pot is for the wise, and if liver is a battle in your house, start with a slice a week, fried with onions, and do not announce it. The fourth food is beans from the garden row. Every Amish garden has bean rows, and every Amish cellar has shelf after shelf of them, dried, in glass jars, waiting for winter. Beans are the poor man's beef, and the wise man's steady friend. They carry building blocks for the muscle, and they carry the minerals that tell a muscle when to squeeze and when to let go, the same ones we measure for the fields. My mother said it plainer. Eat your beans, and your legs will not cramp you awake at 2 in the morning. Beans also steady the sugar in the blood, and steady sugar keeps the nerves in the feet and legs quiet. The tingling and burning so many men past 60 feel at night, that is often the sugar talking. We will speak of the sugar another time. For now, know that a bowl of beans at supper is a quiet friend to the legs, and it costs near nothing, and it keeps all winter in a jar, and there is not a marketing man alive who will ever call that a superfood, because there is no margin in a bean. The fifth food is the one most kitchens throw away. The soup bone. When the outside world butchers, the bone goes in the trash, or to the dog if the dog is lucky. In our kitchens, the bone goes in the pot, and the pot goes on the back of the stove, and it simmers all day, and what comes out of that bone is the difference between a stiff old man and a supple one. The slow simmering draws out the gelatin, the same stuff your knees and hips are cushioned with. It draws the minerals out of the bone itself. A cup of rich broth or a soup built on it gives the joints their oil and the body its building water. The knees that creak on the stairs, the hips that complain in the cold, they are asking for the pot. My mother said a broth can hold a man up, and she said it to every bride who joined the family. Add the garden vegetables and the beans to that pot, and you have a supper that feeds the legs from 3 directions at once. And the bone costs nothing. Ask your butcher. Most days he will wrap it for you free, and think you odd, and hand it over anyway. The best joint food in the store is the one the store throws out. Let that tell you how the store thinks. One word on amounts, because it is where most folks past 60 go wrong. The building food works best spread through the day, not saved for one big supper. At each meal, a portion about the size of your own palm. The old rule of our table is that no meal passes without something that builds and something that grew. So you can see it plainly, here is my own day at 71. Morning, 2 eggs fried in the pan, bread, a glass of milk, then the chores. Midday is the big meal, beef or chicken from the farm, beans or potatoes, something green, and bread. Supper is lighter, the soup pot most days, bread, and the buttermilk. Nothing from a window, nothing from a crinkling bag. I have eaten this way all my life, and the day my legs go quiet will be the first day the table failed me. It has not come yet. Now I will say the thing nobody says at the men's table. What a man past 60 fears is not death. It is the day his son has to help him off the toilet. It is the phone call where his daughter says, in a kind voice, that maybe it is time to look at a place with railings. He fears becoming a burden on the children, and he fears it so much he will not say the word legs out loud. So I will say it for him. Legs. That is what this is about, and it is allowed to be said out loud, because a thing said out loud can be fought. And you deserve the count straight, because the spiral has a price list. Ask the nurses at the county hospital what carries the old ones through their doors. Not fevers, falls. One grown person in 4 past 65 falls every year, and 1 fall in 5 breaks something or cracks a head. A man does not lose his independence all at once. He loses it on one wet Tuesday, on one rug edge, with legs that had been thinning for 10 years while everybody called it age. I think of old Daniel, a man from town who came to me for his hands. Not Amish. His legs thinned the way I described. Tea and toast and the television, and one winter he stopped going out to his workshop because the steps felt long. By spring, the steps were impossible. By the next winter, there was a hospital bed in his front room. Nothing broke, nothing was diagnosed. He stopped, a little at a time, and the stopping added up. The legs keep the books. They do not forget a debt. Daniel was not unlucky, and he was not lazy, and I will not have him called either. He was fed a lie with his toast, that the legs go because the years take them. The years take nothing. The table gives or the table takes, and the chair collects. That is the whole spiral, and it is why everything I am telling you matters more than the ramp they will sell you at the end of it. And hear me plain, because I am a healer and not a fool. When a man falls and does not rise, when a hip breaks, we go to the hospital, and the surgeons earn their keep. The old ways are for keeping the break from ever coming. That is their work. That is all their work, and it is enough. In our settlement, the old ones move into the gross dotty house, the little grandfather house beside the big one, near the family, useful and visited every day. We won the right to care for our own elders ourselves back in 1965, and we take it seriously. But the little house beside the big one only works if the grandfather can still climb its steps. Everything I am telling you is in service of those steps. Now the other half. The food builds the muscle. The work keeps it. Some years back, a young doctor from the college came to our county with little step counters and strapped them to Amish men and women. You should have seen the faces we made at those contraptions. Our men walked 18,000 steps a day. Our women, 14,000. He seemed surprised by the number. We were not. We were the ones doing the walking. The fat sickness that sits on a third of America sat on 4 in 100 of us. We do not exercise the way your world means it. No Amish man has ever done a squat because a magazine told him to. We work. We carry feed and water. We split and stack wood. We climb the barn stairs 50 times a day and never count them. The carrying is the gym. Every pail is a weight with a handle. Your people buy a membership to lift iron in a building and drive home past a wood pile that would have done the job for free. I will leave the arithmetic of that to you. And this is where the handshake comes back, the one I told you to keep in your pocket. I told you I read a man's road in his grip. A doctor from Lancaster told me the English have gone and measured it now, in country after country, 17 countries, and the grip says more about the years a man has ahead than the blood pressure cuff on his arm. More than blood pressure. The grip. He said it like news. After 50 years of handshakes across kitchen tables, it was not news to me. And where does a grip come from? From carrying, ringing, hauling, holding the handles of a full life. You do not buy a grip in a store. You build one or you watch it go. The other thief is the chair. Our people sit at meals, at church, and at evening, and the rest of the day, the legs are under us. The town man sits at breakfast, sits in the car, sits at the desk, sits at the television, and wonders where his legs went. They went where anything goes that is not used. Stand while you read. Pace while you telephone. Every hour on your feet is a deposit in the bank of 80. So here is the work, and it costs nothing but the doing. Walk after the morning meal, 15 minutes every day, rain or shine. Carry the groceries instead of rolling them. Take the stairs when the elevator offers. Stand up from your chair 10 times before you sit for the evening, and do it without your hands if you can. Small, daily, boring things. They outwork anything the aisle sells because they are the things the muscle was built for. And if you start with one habit tomorrow, make it the walk after the morning meal. 15 minutes. The same route, the same time, until it is as fixed as the sunrise. The meal, then the legs, then the day. A body that knows what comes next stops arguing about it. One more habit, and it is the one we teach every elder the way we teach a child to walk, because a fall is not bad luck. A fall is a skill that went unpracticed. The balance habit. Stand on one leg while the kettle boils. Hold the counter if you must. One finger, then no fingers. 30 counts on the left, 30 on the right, every morning, next to something solid. That is the whole drill. It looks like nothing. It is the quick muscle and the balance nerve being told every single morning that they are still employed. The man who practices standing on one leg does not meet the rug edge the way old Dan'l met it. He meets it the way he met it at 50, catches himself, and has a story to tell at supper instead of a hip to show the surgeon. Our old ones do this at the stove every morning without naming it. Now you can name it and do it, and it costs less than the batteries in the television remote. I have put the 5 foods on a card, the kind that goes on the refrigerator under a magnet. Eggs in the morning. Milk and buttermilk at supper. Beef and the liver when you can get it. Beans from the row. And the bone in the pot, not the trash. Look at it when you plan the week's table. If you want the rest of what our remedy chest keeps, the 40 remedies we never stopped using, I gathered them in a little book called The Braucher's Cabinet. You will find it at amishhealer.commonguides.com, written in plain words about plain things, the way my teacher's teacher wrote them down. Count the cost, because the cost is the last trick, and it explains the whole lie. The 5 foods, the eggs, the milk, the beans, the beef, the bone, run a man a few dollars a day, and the bone is free for the asking. The powder tubs and muscle pills at the store run $40, $60 a month, with a scoop full of promises and 4 pages of warnings. A pill a man buys again every month, for the rest of his life, is a fine business. An egg is a terrible one. There is no advertising budget for an egg. There is no sales rep taking your doctor to lunch to tell him about beans. Nobody is paid to tell you what I just told you, and that is most of why you had to hear it from an old Amish man on a screen. One thing before you go. Tell me in the comments which of the 5 is already on your table, because I read every one. And if your father or your grandfather kept his legs past 80, write down what his table looked like. The young ones read these things, and a good table is worth writing down. The plain word before I go. This is old tradition, not medical advice. If you carry pill bottles, keep taking what your own doctor gave you, and tell him what is on your table. A man who stops his pills because of a video is a man using neither sense nor tradition, and the settlement has no use for foolishness. My cousin Ruth down the lane, the mommy the women go to, keeps the kitchen remedies and the wash day wisdom. If the women folk in your house have worries of their own, her kitchen is the one to send them to. We never stop doing it the old way. The cows are milked, the eggs gathered, the pot simmers, the wood gets split, and our old men walk to church under their own power, hats in hand. Yours can too, and the table is where it starts. And the socks will still be there in the morning. Put them on standing, one leg at a time, holding nothing if you are able. Call it practice. It is, and we will talk more of balance another day. Stay strong, stay plain. Next time, the bedtime ritual we teach our old ones at sundown, and why the mind of an Amish elder stays sharp enough to keep the farm books at 90. The dimming is not what you think it is.